The film opens with a voiceover about music's power to summon souls from the past and future. This power, however, has the potential to attract evil as well. Clarksdale, Mississippi, October 1932. Sammy Moore drives to a church, appearing beaten and with claw marks on his face, holding a broken guitar neck. He enters the church, where his father, Jedediah, a preacher, tries to help him by telling him to stop playing music and repent of his sins. Sammy just holds the guitar neck. Sammy's cousins, twin brothers Elijah and Elias Moore, also known as Smoke and Stack, had returned to Clarksdale from Chicago the day before. The twins borrowed money from gangsters and bought an ancient sawmill from a former Klansman named Hogwood. They intend to turn it into a juke joint to attract members of the black community. Smoke travels into town to seek assistance from old friends Grace and Bo Chow in creating a sign and providing other necessities for opening night. When Smoke discovers two young men attempting to rob his truck full of alcohol, he shoots one in the ass and the other in the leg to demonstrate that he means business. Other individuals in town are aware of the twins' reputation. Meanwhile, Stack recruits Sammy, an aspiring blues guitarist, before tracking down another old acquaintance, Cornbread, and recruiting him as a security guard on a cotton plantation. Stack goes to the train station to find Delta Slim, an older blues performer. They attract attention by having Slim perform. Stack persuades him by promising him the Irish beer that they are intending to sell. Moments later, Mary, Smoke, and Stack's childhood friend approach the two. Mary is disappointed that the twins never brought their condolences or flowers to her mother, who died the day before, as she had been like a mother to them. Sammy also meets Pearline, a married woman whom he flirts with and invites to the juke joint's grand opening. Smoke travels to the home of his estranged wife, Annie, who practices voodoo. Years ago, the two lost a kid, which contributed to their breakup. Annie says that her voodoo methods have kept the twins safe. Smoke and Annie then begin to have sex. As the sun sets, an Irishman named Remick rushes to the home of a racist couple, Bert and Joan. Remick persuades them to let him in by offering assets in exchange for protection from the Injuns. Soon, a party of Choctaws approaches the house and warns Joan that Remick is a dangerous guy, but she ignores them and sends them away. Joan returns inside to learn that Remick is a vampire who has just transformed Bert into one. They continue to turn Joan as well. The brothers opened the juke joint to a large crowd. However, they spent a significant amount of money just getting the property up and running. Stack and Annie persuade Smoke to let some customers pay for coverage using scripts. Mary is granted entrance since she is considered family and is 1/8 black on her mother's side. Stack has Sammy play his music. He puts on a soulful performance that captivates the entire crowd. Sammy's music is so strong that he can summon spirits. The juke joint depicts black artists from various historical periods and cultures participating in the celebration. The joint looks to burn down while everyone continues to dance. This captures the interest of Remick, Bert, and Joan. The vampires approach the juke joint, disguised as musicians who have heard the music and want to join. The group plays some music, but Smoke is suspicious and refuses to let them in, despite their promise of payment. Mary resolves to go talk to them herself, because she knows the brothers could use the money. Mary is pleased by their music, but she notices something is wrong when Remick's eyes turn red and he begins to drool. Mary begins to move away, but Remick suddenly flies toward her. At the same moment, Cornbread goes outside to relieve himself, and Slim takes over security. Bert and Joan harass Cornbread into leaving. Meanwhile, Sammy takes Pearline to a room and performs oral sex on her. Mary is let back inside the juke joint, where she first tries to charm Smoke before turning her focus to Stack. They enter a room to have sex. Smoke deals with a patron who cut another man in the face with a razor after being caught playing loaded dice. Smoke instructs Sammy to fetch Stack, but he is too humiliated to stop him from having sex. When Smoke goes to look into it, he discovers Mary biting Stack's neck. Smoke fires his weapons into Mary, but she survives and promises to kill everyone before fleeing. Smoke attempts to help Stack, but he dies. Smoke and Slim instruct the customers to leave the establishment, leaving only Smoke, Sammy, Annie, Slim, Pearline, and Grace. After they go, Cornbread returns and demands to be welcomed inside. Annie realizes something's wrong. When Cornbread offers money, Smoke approaches to take it, and a vampirized Cornbread attempts to bite him, but is shot in the face and flees. Annie recognizes they're dealing with vampires. Stack awakens as a vampire within the closet and leaps out before running as Annie splashes picked garlic juice in his face. The vampires eventually turn the other customers, including Bo. Outside the bar, a crowd of vampires gathers. Remick arrives with Mary, Stack, Bert, and Joan. He says that the brothers were set up by Hogwood, the Grand Dragon of the KKK, who planned to have Bert, his nephew, lead other clansmen to kill the twins and their clientele, which Stack confirms after seeing Remick's memories. Remick rejects the clan's racial ideals in favor of Sammy, believing that his musical talents can conjure the spirits of his own people that he has lost. Remick gives the group the opportunity to become vampires, allowing them to live forever and escape racial persecution. When they reject, Remick proposes that they visit Lisa, Grace, and Bo's teenage daughter. The survivors grab stakes, guns, and garlic as Grace orders the vampires to come inside, setting up a final encounter. Grace charges at Bo with a stake, setting them both ablaze. Slim entices a swarm of vampires to pursue him by severing his arm, and Pearline is also fatally wounded in front of Sammy. Most of the other vampires have been staked and blown up. Annie is bitten and has Smoke stake her in the heart before turning. Stack and Mary watch this and briefly regain their humanity, expressing horror and regret at Annie's death. Smoke and Stack battle, while Sammy attempts to flee Remick outside. The vampire claws his face, explaining what happened earlier, but Sammy uses the twins' father's guitar to drive the silver part into Remick's skull. Smoke then appears to stake Remick through the chest exactly as the sun rises. Remick explodes into flames while the other vampires follow suit and burn up. Smoke orders Sammy to flee as soon as possible because he knows the clan is on their way. Smoke grabs his weapons and hides as the clansmen approach. He kills them with a Tommy gun and a grenade. One of the clansmen shoots Smoke in the gut, but he also blows them up. Hogwood is the final one remaining, offering Smoke money for his life, but Smoke shoots him. As he begins to die, Smoke sees Annie's spirit with that of their child. Sammy returns to the church, but despite his father's pleas, he refuses to stop playing music. He finishes up traveling north with the instrument still in hand. In the closing scenes, Sammy appears as an elderly blues musician in 1992. Stack and Mary find him after his performance. They embrace him warmly, with Stack stating that Smoke could not kill him and ordering him to stay away from Sammy. Stack realizes Sammy doesn't have much time left and offers to turn him so he may stay longer and continue playing music, but Sammy says he's seen enough of the world and is ready to leave when the time comes. Sammy performs one final song for Stack and Mary. Before they leave, Sammy admits that he still has nightmares from that night, but that the day before the sun went down was the happiest of his life. Stack agrees, stating that it was the last time he saw his brother and the sun, as well as the last time he felt completely free.